game for this intro today. It's a game that you can take as seriously or as playful as you want. And maybe if you take it too seriously, it might be like too vulnerable for a whole group. So I'll leave that up to you guys. So I'll ask the questions and you will write it down for yourself. And that will be really quick. And then when we finish this, if you want to share one of the answers, you can. If not, we're gonna move forward. So for who got just arrived, we're gonna do a little game. It's Jung's personality test. Is one of his personality tests. And I just thought that we've been like moving a lot of things this week and emotions, and it's always good to like have a playful look at the self. Grief even left. So we're gonna do okay, Katie, we're gonna do a game, and you can just write down the answers just for yourself.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so the first question is, and try to be very, like, don't think about it. And we're gonna move kind of fast. Don't think about it, just write it down. So think of an animal and think of 3 characteristics of this animal. And these characteristics are like adjectives. Hey, Mihai, you just got here. We're doing a little game. So the first question is just for you to, and you write down just for yourself. And then I'll explain after. So you
What's
just
the
think of an
question?
animal. You
Okay.
just think of an animal and don't say it out loud. Just write it down. Think of an animal and 3 characteristics for it. The first that comes to your head.
Thank you.
Hey, Mihai. Nice to see you.
It's just nice to see you too.
Or hear you. See your avatar.
Cool. So we can pass to the second one. So the second is think of a color and 3 adjectives for this color.
You said collar?
Color, yeah.
Color.
Yeah? Can we move to the next?
Yes.
Okay. So the next one is water, like a large body of water. Any type of water source of water type, and then also 3 characteristics for this water. How does it look? How does it feel? And the last one, we're going to close our eyes for a second. Everyone ready? Okay, so
Yes.
close your eyes and imagine you're in a white room. This room has no doors, no windows. It's just a white room. And there's also nothing in there. And you're sitting in this white room. You take one breath and pay attention on how you feel. You give 3 adjectives for this feeling. 3 ways to describe how you're feeling in this room. You can open your eyes and write it down.
Can I write it with my eyes closed?
Yeah. Hi, Craig. We were doing a little game that just ended that I'll explain in a minute. Does anyone need more time? Okay, so we can start. If you guys want to open the camera, I think it would be funny to have the reactions for this moment. But if you don't want to, it's okay. Okay, so the first one, the animal is, how do you like or what do you expect from people around you? So the qualities that you wrote, the 3 adjectives, is what you look for in people. And then the second one, the color, is how you perceive yourself or how you think you are perceived by others. So also this three characteristics are like supposed to say something about you and your self-perception. And then the third one, the body of water, is how is your relationship with sexuality? And water has the and water has this quality of and then the qualities that you gave to the water are this self-experience of sexuality. And then the last one is, how do you perceive death? being in the white room? And what is your relationship with death? And again, this is just like you can take as seriously or as playfully as you want, and it can mean something or it can mean nothing. And I just want to have a quick round of like 30 seconds each to just like say how it landed, or to just say hi and how you're doing. And I'll pass to Santi.
Thank you, Libby. Okay, I like working with fast, agile, and loyal people. I guess I am fresh, handy, and intense at work. I love intense, free, and unexplored sex. And I see death calm, happy, and relaxed. All right, I'll pass it to Zeptimus.
Oh man, my results are kinda weird and scary, but okay. On the first one,
You don't have to share if you don't want.
It's okay, I just say it. It's the game. I put it on a turtle, and then it's slow, cute, and defensive. Then blue, peace, shine, and cold. And then ocean, exciting, scary, and adventure. And then on the last one, I only had two, like calm and observer. Yeah, it's super weird, but yeah, it is what it is. And I'll pass it to Mihai.
I think the most relevant ones are the animal, which is monkey. That's how I look at people: playful, smart, and fast. And the water, I've chosen Niagara Falls, which is strong, consistent, and big. I'll pass it on to Chewy.
Thanks, Mihai. This was interesting. I picked a dog, which I find loyal, adventurous, and happy, for lack of a better word. I don't know why. Like, maybe it's like my mood today, but I picked red, even though it's not like my favorite color. And I said alive, passionate, and dangerous. Oh God. I like for water, like I visualized um a river which is constantly moving, carries life, and ends up being part of a bigger whole. So yeah, that kind of blew my mind. And yeah, from in this white empty room, I find myself in a peaceful, uh, lonely space, and pretty much I sense it like as a purgatory, like as somewhere where you're supposed to probably just like think of the past and build from there, from your own like introspective in the past. I'll pass it to Nate.
Yeah, that was an interesting exercise. I selected pigeon for the animal, and it's resilient, resourceful, communal. My color was green, natural, bold, and living. The body of water was the Pacific Ocean, and it said it's cold, dangerous, and vast. And then the lone in a white room, I said peace, terror, and home. So, yeah, you know. I will pass it to Jess.
Yeah, it's really fun to hear everyone's, and also funny a little bit. Mine was narwhal, so I guess I expect people around me to be unique, majestic, and magical. I think that's pretty in alignment. Sunflower yellow, or like the sunset, so warm, bright, and brings you into the present moment, or has this kind of like nostalgia to it. And then the water, I kind of first thought of Himalayas and then a jungle waterfall, and I thought of source and kind of like cleansing or spiritual, fresh and unending flow. And then the white room said present, clear, and still, similar to Sandy as well. So I am very welcoming to death. And don't fear it. And with that, I will pass it to Mr. Craig. I don't think. Well, oh, you weren't able to participate.
Yeah,
so Tam, I
Craig
guess.
didn't.
That's Tam.
So I guess what I expected from people around me, I chose ant. I don't know why second time I've been asked to choose an animal, and I don't have a particular affinity for ants, but it's the first one that comes to my mind. And so strong, fast, and reliable, just always there. Everywhere you are, there's ants, and they're busy, and they're doing things, and they're really strong. And then how do I perceive or think I'm perceived? Cobalt blue is the color I chose, and it's bold, bright, and playful. And then my relationship with sexuality, I chose the ocean, and it's vast, rejuvenating, and unpredictable. So I really got a kick out of that too. The white room is death, right? But I felt really nice in that room. So it was serene, appreciation, and in the moment. In the moment, maybe it's not related to death, but felt good to be there. I want to go back, and I'll pass to. Is there anyone? Juan, did you go?
Thanks. Yeah, the animal that I selected was the octopus, and I said that it's strong, sensitive, and wise. The color, I said black, and it's like serious, elegant, and is everywhere. The water, I chose the Caribbean Sea, and it's salty, powerful, and navigable. And the white room, I felt productive. I felt like I was in calm, but on the same time, I was like motivated. I felt that way. So those were my answers.
I love getting motivated when you die, man. That's awesome.
Oh, nice. That was fun. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so to the agenda. And just something I wanted to say also related to this is that, like, there's so many, I feel like we're very intensely related to this project, and relationships are built, and there is so much more than like part, like it's almost like we hold a fractal of like everything we are here, and that if there is a room and desire and curiosity for knowing more of each other, for like opening spaces of conversation and off like being yourself and feeling like you're welcome to be yourself, I think yeah, it's a great space for us to like also be able to look at like who we are. Like this has been a big piece of self-knowledge for myself being here, and just offering that reflection if you guys want to look and that from that point too. Craig, did you want to say something?
I'll make a abbreviated submission based on what I've heard. Orange raven soaring over an ephemeral river. And I don't know that I went to the White Room, and I'm not even sure what it is, so I'll just stop there.
Nice. Thanks for participating. Well, if you want to apply that to somebody, because once you do it, you can't do it again. That's why I didn't do it this time. But the animal is how you perceive people around you. The color is how you perceive yourself. The water is sexuality, and the white room is relationship to death. So cool. So to the agenda, we do have a lot of topics, and we have the Params RunOff that Griff and Sugar are working on in the parameters room. Maybe I'll go there for a second, pick them up, and I'll come back.
I really like the exercise. It's great to have like this multiplicity of everything. It's so diverse, so it's amazing.
Cool. So they are coming, and they're here. So, yeah, Griff, do you want to take it?
Sure. So we started trying to standardize and act like this is a real election where try not to favor one proposal or another and try to really standardize the text throughout the proposals the best that we can to whatever extent that we can given the time constraints. So we started doing that, and I put the links for what we have so far in the in the Softgov channel, and I would love for you guys to consider reviewing it. I don't know if we want to have a hack session or have put thoughts. I know Livia has a bunch of pictures, for instance, to add, and also Livia, did you happen to delete the minting rate section?
Delete the minting rate?
Yeah, there was like a minting rate section, but
Are you sure it's ever even in there? Because I feel like maybe it wasn't even in there because the one we started with didn't have that information. I don't know if we ever put it in there, but I'll put it in now.
It had the text somewhere, but it may not have had the header. Either way, so we're basically just we've been hacking on this all morning, and of course the days before. But I feel like we'd love to hear your guys' review, especially of the first two, comparing them to each other and seeing if one feels different than the other, or if there's anything that we're missing that you guys could bring about, or if we have something wrong, like there's a copy paste error somewhere or something. It's ready for community review, basically. Is there anything else you wanted me to talk about, Livia, explicitly?
No, I think just that we are, we're gonna open the runoff today and have this whole week until next Tuesday to vote, because Thursday is a good promotion moment where more people have the eyes on it. So we use Thursday for that, and people still after Thursday have a few days in the weekend. And then we close the runoff on Tuesday, and also we'll have time to look into we'll be looking in the praise data and stuff during this week that it's also related with the params that are being chosen now for the hatch. So yeah, just the timeline.
Question, is there going to be any communication, like a mass communication or an email that's announcing the runoff vote and announcing the deadline to vote?
Chewy, do you have any thoughts on how we're going to I assume Twitter, of course.
Yes, we're doing Twitter. Also, we're gonna be. Craig sent a test for the for the email list. We just want to involve us probably some design in it. So I would say that the Twitter, Medium article, and mailing list. Yeah, and on the other side we also have like the teams and all of that. But yeah, it's something more like separate for like openly, like for people. I think those are the three main platforms.
I'm definitely going to be DMing people. That worked pretty well for the MVV. Just DMing people who have voting power. There's not that many, it's probably like 40 to 50 people really who have large C-stack holdings or large impact hour holdings that really should get in there and vote. And of course, the long tail is important as well.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Where is that vote happening? Like,
once we propose these, and yeah, I was really hoping that you guys would just kind of take the moment to read through them and see if you feel like anything's missing, or especially once you've read through both of them, and just have some thoughts.
okay.
Also about the
You said the first
structure.
two, right, Rick? Sorry.
The links are in the Softgov channel.
I just posted them in the agenda too.
But
And yeah, also the structure, like, is the first look you have at it, is it easy to understand? Because we try to break down between hatch strategy and graphs, and then the DAO strategy and graphs, and have they more integrated and the graphs more in context. So it might look like a big thing, but actually when you go like step by step, it's easier to understand than it was before.
Yeah, I really like this format, how the graphs are integrated with the text.
Griff, do you have a fourth one for me?
Not yet. Do you feel like we finished the third one?
Well, I put back in the hinting rate, but I just, I could move on it.
Okay, yeah, I can make that really quick.
I missed
Yeah,
the fourth. Sorry.
What is it?
No, sorry. It's okay. I'm gonna mute myself before I keep talking.
It's a little hard to hear you, Katie.
Well, so yeah, maybe just everyone can take like 2 minutes to take a look at it. And if you have any feedback that we can work on right now, then
Yeah, I would love it for it to be like 15 minutes so you can really read the proposals.
okay, we do have like a little bit more on the agenda, but okay, let's do 10
No,
minutes.
that's fine. Yeah, cool. Perfect. And maybe just read the first two and then let the other two, don't waste your time because they're still working. Suga, you got the link, right? Cool.
Okay. Can we do a quick round of thoughts, like really quick, of what everyone thought and if there is something to improve and if it's ready to go? I just added the images to all of them. Okay, start with Tam.
I spent so much time on it already. I'm going to defer to the community for what can be better. I'm trying to catch up on some stuff I wasn't able to get to this week. So I'll pass back to, or I'll just pass. I'll pass to Chewy.
I'm sorry. What was that, Katie? Oh, okay.
Livia, did you say you added?
Yeah.
Sorry, Chewy. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, Katie. Yeah, I mean, I like the order of it. I guess I also have not a lot to contribute with at this point, but I do think that it is presented in a very clear way. So yeah, I don't think people will have any problems using it as supporting material. I'll pass it to Santi.
Thank you, Chuy. I've been basically focused on the first two to go deeply over the both of them, and I kind of like 57. I think the whole structure, the whole parameters are make more sense to my personal feeling. I think that it's more the target goal or the maximum goal is more reasonable. The amount of each die for watt towers.
But as opposed to comparing the parameters, just like at a higher level, if these are proposed, are they going to be proposed fairly? Is there a standardization that needs to be made between the two? Not really which one do you like more, like will you vote for, but like just the format.
Yeah, all right. I think it's quite clear. It goes over every single key parameter and it explains them correctly and the reason behind the parameter number. I think they are quite clear. Anyone who wants to spend the time to go over them gets a clear idea of what the affections of those numbers are going to be on the proposal if it's the one chosen. So I feel comfortable with the way it's described. And I'll pass it to Juan Carlos.
Yes, I also think it's well presented, and I like the short descriptions that I got to read. I think, yeah, I think they are fair and precise to the differences and like ideas behind each proposal. I will pass to Nate.
Yeah, I like the format a lot. I think it's more digestible than the original format that we had. The DAO strategy separated from the hatch process altogether is really nice. Just to compare those, because it is, we do standardize it. It'd be interesting to see if we could have people have public commenting on these, and I know that we may put that in as part of the issue, so that's available for people to see the differences. But otherwise, I think that yeah, I think it looks great, and I think the format's nice. I will yeah, pass this up to you or whoever.
Thanks, Nate. Yeah, I actually had the chance to read two of them, and I think they are awesome. Like really, like I really wrote it one, and all the ideas I wrote it in there, like they were very short, and I feel like they are represented, and it's awesome. It looks really nice, and the format is. I mean, it's very easy to understand, and yeah, thank you guys. Praise both of you. I'll pass it to Jess.
I'm eating and I haven't been as deeply involved in the process, but I will say I've been skimming, and definitely I feel like every time I look at these, like the dashboard and this literature as well, I feel like the communication is getting much more clear, and I think the visuals are a good addition as well. So yeah, I've seen the iterative process, and it's looking better and better
in
for
about 15
communications.
minutes on our internal.
So I'll pass it back to Libby because I didn't
Cool.
catch everybody
See you
that was
15.
going. I'm kind of munching also over here.
I think just Mihai hasn't gone. Mihai?
Yep, sure. So I like how the graphs are combined with the narrative. I think it points out really well the data. What I think would be useful just at the end is to have all these three side-by-side comparison. I think it was really helpful in Griff for showing that in a Google spreadsheet after you've read all of them to see them side by side and have a more high-level view of them. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think once we post these, the next goal is to create a voter pamphlet blog of some sort where it's really comparing all of them and just looking at the stats and looking at different things in a relatively objective way. So that's the next step.
Yay, cool. So
Thanks.
ready to go. And we can kick off and also get into this. Let me share my screen. Maybe make a Twitter about it, and we can all coordinate Griff and Chewy and Katie. And also Nate wrote this. It was supposed to be a forum post, but I feel like it's almost like a blog post. It's amazing. It's really, really detailed of the process that we took to get where we are. I didn't get to finish like the very end of it, but yeah, I went through most of it, and I saw you incorporated the comments already, and I feel like we can post together with the runoff, and then if people want to learn more about it, I think it's really cool. Do you want to say something about it, Nate, or we can?
No, I made some changes to it. I had accidentally already posted it because I thought it was good to go, but I did make some edits after I noticed some changes that needed to be made within it. So not everything in here is accurate that you see in the doc, but it is on the forum as well.
Nice. I like the free reign on posting the form personally.
Yeah, for sure. It was just that he asked for if we could give it a look, and I almost finished, but if you want to post as it is, I think it's great.
Yeah, and it seems like it should be a blog post. We just need to meme the hell out of it. So if anyone's memeing, good, yeah.
Nate, it's really incredible. I love how you captured all of the complexities of and what was involved. I'm really, really impressed. I want to say this is really, really excellent. And it's nice because it's a little documentation of history. It's fantastic. Like, serious, huge kudos.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was impressed too. It was so quick and and so much information, and in a very easy way to read. So the next point is the praise data analysis. So Jess is going to update us a little bit on how that's moving. And after she does, I wanted to have sense making on what points we can bring to this data analysis. What are things that, because us that are so involved in this process can, especially like people that have been quantifying praise as well, like what are things that we could look at? So a few that I listed here would be the possibility to restore 100% of impact hours for paid contributors. Like, how would that look in the data if we integrate that change through a voting session, of course, but like having that possibility, how would that change things? Tam brought up this point, and we should include in the analysis. And then mapping, and then that's something I thought of, mapping double praises. Like maybe the results we have, like it will be good to see in the analysis if there is a lot of double praises that were equally quantified. And this is something we were doing in the beginning of like, oh, whenever you see a double praise, like put a red line there to not quantify again. But I know how that is very easy to sleep through when we are like reading so many praises. So yeah, also just like looking into this in the data would be cool, and see how that like also changes the chart and impacts the things. So I'll ask Jess to update us, and then we can give a quick round on if you guys think there are any other points that we could bring to the analysis. Do you want to take it?
Sure. Thanks, Livy. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance yet, I've updated the forum post with the recording from Sunday's meeting, which had really nice attendance and had a lot of really great discussion. And Zargam dropped by, and Sean was there as well. And Santi, I guess a lot of people here were there, but if you didn't catch it, it's a really interesting discussion, and I updated as much as possible the documents and the notes. I guess what I need to do next is get with YGG, because he has the list of the kind of parameters that the group is going to be scanning for, so that everybody can see that. I'm going to pull that out of all the documentation and put it on the form very clearly. And then whatever comes out of this session, we could also weigh against and consider. But there was pretty good consensus for like the major big stuff that we can look at, because what we can't do is get, you know, we're trying to, I guess, kind of 80-20 this, and the resources and bandwidth of some of the data scientists is pretty low. So we're trying to just pick like the top 4 or 5 things that we want to scan for in the data. So it would be great to hear if there's anything missed, and I'm going to try to reflect that on the forum. Meanwhile, the main note is that I talked with Angela, and she called this an admirable action, and says it gives her great confidence and respect for the community that people are willing to question and look and analyze the system, and if that is serving the needs of the community. She says she will fully support whatever is needed for the process, and is helping me to engage some of the top data scientists from TE. There will be 3 to 5 of them with a great variety of experience that can also kind of teach each other. So it's a big learning and educational process all around in a lot of ways, fractally. So we're planning a session depending on their availability. We were hoping for tomorrow, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So I think it's going to end up being next Tuesday. This is going to be a very focused work session, so there won't be any political discussion. It's just kind of how to divvy up the work, the modeling work and the data work for these people that have pretty low bandwidth. So that's why we thought if we get a few, we can break up that work. And so that will be next week, I'm thinking, which I'll be advertising on Twitter. And it will be like a very focused live hacking session, kind of like with another research group we did. So yeah, and that will be recorded. And I'm thinking, from talking with Angela, that in 2 hack sessions, we should be able to have something to present, I think within, let's say, week after next, as like a target, but hopefully sooner, that we would have some good analysis to start to share. And we're going to be hosting all of the discussions and all of the data discussions in the TEC Labs channel. So if you want to kind of keep up to date, it will be in there. Were there any other questions about moving forward in that direction? And also, again, this is like an analysis, and then it's totally up to the community if and what action that people want to take. But hopefully we can put together a small presentation, and the data scientists can present to the community and share their findings and pull out like the high level findings, and then bring it into Softgov for further discussion, if everybody feels good about that.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes left. So just to, we're going to do a last quick round. And just a quick update on SourceGrad is that this week we'll be able to do most likely the first distribution. We just need probably Griff, either you or Craig, to help us with the minting. And we're going to write a blog post about this, but just to update the choice of the 10 impact hour, and maybe we can schedule a session to do that minting, or I don't know how that works or what you guys would need for that.
Yeah, Craig has total control, I think. So
Cool.
should be able to
Are you
work.
cool, Craig, that we schedule a session with you this week to go through that?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so before we pass this last round, I just want to a reminder that all this discussion with praise is nothing personal with no one. Like, all the work that has been put in this community is really, really valued, and I think we all feel the gratefulness for everyone and for the impact of people's contributions. So if there is anything that anyone is feeling around this, I know it's a sensitive topic because it does touch on like, oh, are my contributions being questioned? And I just want to say that it's no one's contributions being questioned. It's just that we finally have data to analyze this process that was never analyzed before. So from this data points, we're just trying to understand how the system works. And there are so many communities that are super interested in praise. So it's also, I think it's also a very interesting moment that there is so much attention in this process, and it just proves how much value it was built up until now for us to have so much attention on this. So I know we just have 2 minutes left, but let's do like 20 seconds, like the quickest as possible, but also a thoughtful response on do you think there are any other data points that we can bring up to this analysis session next week? I'll pass to Tim.
I can't do this in 20 seconds. I want to say, Jessica, that's such an amazing update. Thank you so much. And God, we couldn't have known what the results would be, but what an amazing opportunity we have that we have such a rich data set now, and that the Token Engineering Academy and Balancer team are wanting to be the data scientists to try to help us make sense of it. So I just want to say that's amazing. I feel like I'm going to take up all the time, and I shouldn't. So I have a lot more to say, of course, maybe the next Softgov or before. I'll pass to Jessica.
Well, maybe
I'm gonna pass. Yeah, I'd like to pass to somebody.
Maybe if anyone has 5 minutes more to stay, and if people need to leave, feel welcome to leave. And maybe you can express what you're thinking then.
You're talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
No, I just said that if anyone needs to leave, that we're like on the top of the hour, but that I would like to hear what you have to express, and we can go a few minutes over if it's possible.
Sure, or maybe I'll give anyone who needs to speak before the top of the hour the opportunity if they have to jump. Maybe 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, I think that what we have is a really interesting situation. We have results, and we have results from an open participatory process that we all want to respect. And we have a situation where we have compensation and governance intermingled and undecouplable. So the goal is that everyone should be really fairly compensated. And the goal is that we want to have the right governance balance in the TEC. And how we can reach this, I think, is sort of something that we need to look at. God, I feel like all my thoughts are unclear suddenly. I think that our model is imperfect, and I think all models are imperfect. And I go back to many of the things that I heard Zargam say on some of the input that he's given in this specific area, which is we need to be in the habit of questioning the algorithm, and that it's not a mistake to say, hey, this is a great experiment, and we have, these initial goals that we wanted. And, when we didn't have the data, there was nothing we could do. But hope, we're going to make our best decisions with our best intentions. And I feel that every decision that was made regarding the praise process was the best one for that time in that context. I don't think we could say a mistake was made anywhere. But I think that now that we have the full data set, we can start to look and say, did this meet our original requirements? And if not, right, what should we do about it? Should we modify, like, 2 things I want to say. I think it's important that this is out in the open for the entire community to see and vote on. Should we make a change to the existing impact hour distribution before the hatch or not? Like, I feel pretty strongly that should probably be a vote. And then how do we change the model can probably be something more like, a group of, a group can come to a consensus on how we can change the model to the algorithm, basically to account for any disparities to our stated goal that we may have surfaced through a more rigorous data analysis. So I just think it's super important that we leave there just some space and some open-mindedness about let's see what the results are from the data analysis, and then we can make a decision about what should be done next without sort of having, I don't know, like closing off any ideas. And I want to, reiterate what you said. I feel like this is not a statement about anybody's standing within the TEC. Everyone who's participating is incredibly valuable in many ways. And I also think that it should be something that we can maybe try to abstract from individual people. I am Tamara and you're Lydia, and there's Chewy and there's Craig and Griff and Santi. But if we can create personas to express this is a persona, and these are the things that they've been praised for. And this is a persona, and these are, the things that they've been praised for. This is the contribution we've seen this person make. This is the contribution we've seen this persona make. Like, is this the things that we want to perpetuate in the period between the hatch and the commons upgrade, where we're going to go through another accrual period, right? So we have the short term, like, what do we do right now? And then we have what do we do for the period between the hatch and the commons DAO, with the hope that every community member receives, and now or later, like the governance that we want them to have in the community based on their contributions. And yeah, I think that's it. This is an experiment. It's got to be like, this is, again, not me saying this is Zargam saying this, like, it's an experiment. It's got to be okay to say we were wrong about some stuff and we want to see how we can do it better next time. But this is not a casting judgment on the process itself, on the model, or on any people involved. It's just, now that we have data, we can look at it and figure out how we can improve.
I gotta jump to another call, but thank you, Tam, for your insights, and thanks everybody. And please DM me if anybody has any thoughts or questions that I can help with, and otherwise we'll post on the forum. Thanks, Livia, for hosting.
Maybe it's worth. I'd like to say one other thing. I'm sorry. I think the framing of this we can try to make as neutral as possible. The language that I've heard, not one person, or just words like attack or challenge, I think create a kind of FUD in us emotionally, and we react to those words or take away. I think maybe we can try to say, let's put on a rational, analytical mind, and not like try to use neutral language when we're discussing this, even though there may be some emotion attached to it.
Yeah, thanks, Tam. I do think this point is very non-political. It's just and I don't think any of the raw I don't think the data should be changed. I just think it's this moment of analysis, and that it's really gonna get political after, but it's good to have this points of analysis happening first. So if anyone has ideas of other points to look at, of oh, we have all of this data, and then what are the filters we want to use to look at it also, and how can we yeah, like this, like having this understanding of like, oh, maybe maybe restoring 100% of impact hours, like that is a political discussion, but then there is the filter of the data that we have to have first to look into it. So yeah, just if anyone has other ideas.
Go ahead, Juan Carlos.
I am also one that favors and is willing to facilitate this dialogue. And also, I think it's important for all opinions to be heard, and also for all opinions to to take place in the discussion. And I also feel that what we had was great because, like, I have been part of it. Like I have been in praise quantification, and I think it's a great process. So I think that maybe improving it shouldn't be like radically changing it. It should be like few small tweaks, because like it would like, if changes are too big, it would like put into stake the legitimacy of what has been done in this moment, and would also have like an external like breaking point, or like a punctual breaking point in history. And I think that as this has been a very evolutionary process, it can like continue having evolutions. But yeah, I think that I also trust in the in all the TEs in the community, and I feel like somehow, yeah, I agree that there is a bridge between, yeah, some TEs that are in the community but maybe are not in so many calls. But I feel that this is the moment where like they should appear, and if they are if they have a voice, and we are all like listening to the different points, the idea is that we can have like the best overall feeling before launching the commons and the economy. And yeah, I also think that it's very important to always try to have this in the safest type of language, and in the most transparent way possible, because like that's the way we have been working. And I think that we shouldn't change what we have like now for but maybe like adding a little bit of a small finishing touch. I will pass to Griff.
I actually have to run to. I have to run to another call. I think that I just hope that we take lessons from history on the like taking numbers away from people. If data comes out that we need to change something, I there are almost no demurrage currencies, and every demurrage currency that ever existed in crypto just went away basically. But every currency is inflationary. So and considering this is the cultural build, I think we need to at least control the scope of this process to say that any impact hour that was given to someone that they felt like they had, we can't take that away, because people don't like that, and that should be a factor in our decision making for how we want to fix things. So yeah, inflation over removal of tokens. But I also have to run to another call, so I'll just pass it to Chewy.
Can I make a quick comment just before you leave? That I just don't, I think all of the decisions will have to taken by vote. So I don't think there is like, oh, if the data shows that we need to do something like this, doesn't exist. And that's why I think these dialogues are important, because we're going to have to vote on anything that will happen. And it's just important to have inputs, and if there is anything of like looking into the data in a certain way, then yeah, initially this wasn't supposed to be like a political discussion, but end up being, because I think there's a lot of feelings involved. It was just like, how can we objectively look at this? But
Yeah, and that was kind of
yeah.
my point. I think it'd be a lot easier to objectively look at it if people didn't feel threatened like they were going to have something taken away. But instead, we framed it as, no, actually, we're going to give to the people who didn't have enough. And it's just a very important framing. But okay, see you guys.
Thanks, Griff.
Add something just also quickly, because I have to go also. Just to Juan Carlos, similarly, I don't think we should jump the gun and say, well, let's make sure we only do small things because XYZ. We just have to see what the data shows us before we can decide anything. That's all I think. Thanks, everybody.
I'd like to come in and defend the praise system as much as I possibly can. There are some aspects, praise reminds me of how regulators try to define cryptocurrencies in general. Whether it's commodity, whether it's security, whether it's a utility token, it's all of those things in one. But it depends on how the community decides to use that tool, and so. There's so much value that is created by this praise system that cannot be captured within this data, and I think that's important to acknowledge. I mean, to have a culture based on positive reinforcement praise is something that you cannot recreate in a lot of ways. And if you want to say that the impact hour system in relation to that praise is something that needs to be reformed, that's fine, and it should be objectively reviewed. I have no problem with that. I do think that if you start basing our system, whether it's you want to reward contributors or give out governance tokens, or if you base that on data, you're going to end up with a very, very different culture with very, very different outcomes. And I think that is something that should be recognized, and I just want to put that out there in the world. So, yeah, keep praise.
I just want to add to that, actually. I think the praise system is amazing, but that doesn't mean that it has achieved the outcomes necessarily. And I don't necessarily want it, like, the value that it creates. I think a lot of this discussion is premature. We kind of have to see what data analysis can do and see what results there are. And I guess I'm just a little worried that it seems like there's a lot of that there's some hesitation to want to have the data sort of be surfaced so that we can look at it. I feel like maybe we just say, let's just hold off on making any guesses until we see what it says. And then we can say, yeah, definitely we can see from the results of the data analysis that the value then we apply the subjective layer on top of that. But I don't think that using data science to analyze the data that we have in any way says that the praise system has failed or is wrong or is not good at all. I just feel like that's a false correlation. It's a great system and we should keep using it. We should also make sure that it is achieving the goals that we hope to achieve in the governance of the TEC.
I think that the best part is going through this process, is learning, is analyzing. I think most of the ones that have been involved with the system for quite a while, voting or nominating, feel that it's a fair system. Probably it's far away from what an algorithmic system would look like, and that's why we're seeing skews all over. And that's the point. I mean, it's a complete subjective system, and when you put that into a data science analytics, it's going to crash always. you don't need to dive. I mean, you just see it from the very first moment. But that doesn't mean it can be improved. And I think just going, and that's why I shared that image, just going through the discussion, just analyzing, getting the feedback, it's amazing. It's great. It's a great complement to the system itself. So I'm fine with going over it. The only negative side, if there's one, is that we probably should have started doing this earlier, and not now that we are on a rush to try to hatch. But better later than never. So that's my point.
I think I largely agree with Santi. And I would just encourage people to contemplate it as a data set, and you can tell any story you want with statistics. It's a rich data set. Sure, there's a lot of instances that can be analyzed in a number of ways. But I would also encourage people to differentiate between a data set and a synthetic data set that comes out of modeling, because the assumptions in CAD world are so broad that there's likely range of opinions on whether those assumptions are valid. So let's see what the data analysis looks like. It's hard to analyze subjective data sets in a quantitative manner. Granted, these people are legends, brilliant. I love them all. But because I'm a data analyst as well, but I would just hope that the articulate nature with which they speak about the data set doesn't outweigh or doesn't overly influence the way people feel about the praise system. And yeah, I'll just stop there.
I wanted to comment here. I wanted first to hear everyone because my opinion is a bit strong in here. Yeah, doing data analysis, of course, like we have and do it and improve it as much as we can. But the only on a trust-based economy, just raising this point of redistribution, I think that's reckless. And yeah, that's what I think. Because doing data and looking into the future, that's awesome. And I really don't agree either with taking tokens away or what Riff was saying about diluting tokens, because I feel this is not correct, because we're breaking the social contract we all have this since the beginning. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Zeph.
Sorry, can I say one more thing I had on my mind? And because of that thing of redistribution, I feel like the community can be splitted, and I think it's the time to the big leaders to make the community get together, because if we are not together, this is not going to work.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I don't think there is, and I think this is a message that it's getting very messed up with this whole communication, that I don't think nobody is proposing to change the tokens that were already distributed. And I feel like this is maybe was a misunderstanding that I see, that it's kind of everywhere. And or at least speaking for myself, I would never vote on that. And I agree with you that we have a strong social agreement, and that has been reinforced through the months. And that's why I was trying to have a very objective look on what are the points of data that we can analyze, and us being the people that are more connected and influenced by the system. Maybe we have the expertise on what are the points that might have affected the results in a way that it could be beneficial for all if this was looked into, and not only beneficial in a sense of like money or governance or reputation or none of that, but in a sense of like, are we making the best use of this tool, and how can we move forward with using this tool for reflecting what is actually happening. Like, is there value that we have been failing in recognizing? Is there like, for example, it's like a very objective thing of like double praise, and then there are many subjectivities about the double praise, right? Like, is it double praise if one person was praised by multiple people in the same day about something? Is a double praise if one person was praised by multiple people in different days? Like, I think if it was different days, maybe it shouldn't be considered double praise. But if it was something that like, oh, I wrote something and I posted there, and then someone praises me for that, and then someone else didn't see that I was already praised for that and then praises me again. And how does that weights in the quantification? So things like this, that I feel like that are not personal at all, are just like really like data inputs of and then there's another question: should this person be receive more praise because they were praised so many times? Like, maybe there is an extra appreciation from the community for that thing that was praised many times, and should we decide a value that you know what I mean? Like, there are things that I think we can look very objectively that will create subjective questions. And then we'll have a look at the subjective questions together. And nothing will happen without a voting session. And we have multiple voting mechanisms in place for things like this. And I feel like us as Softgov working group, like all of you that are here, you've been collaborating a long time with this working group. And I think it's also our responsibility to be thinking about the subjective systems, because Softgov, it's like all of these things that are like, oh, how do we go about it? And so yeah, so I just wanted to open the space. If you guys want to go in this document, anonymous, if you want to make comments, if you want to reach out to me, I'll be very present in the analysis sessions, and just to like, yeah, just to understand everything that I think it's important. So
yeah, I'm
yeah.
starting to reach out to people too, because I feel the same sense. I think that it's so important to understand all of the perspectives of everyone who's impacted. And yeah, thanks for summing it up so beautifully.
Make one more general observation. I feel like the timing of this whole endeavor is unfortunate for us. The praise system has been in practice for what, a year or two. We've been using it for 7 or 8 months. If the individuals who are raising the concerns about the unfairness of it had been engaged during that period, why now? So that's just a general observation.
Yeah, I can take a crack at answering that either, because I feel like I have some insight to share there. It's true, the timing is super.
Cool. I mean, I'm not asking for an answer, but if you want to, that's great.
Yeah, I think it's important actually. The timing, I agree, is really, we're in like this crunch time right before the hatch. And I just also want to maybe be careful saying that people are saying praise is unfair. I don't think that's the message. I think the message is, hey, are these the results we wanted? Can we have a moment of introspection? And because we're in crunch time, I feel, especially, I also felt initially a lot of resistance because it was like, wait, we can't do this. We're hatching. How can we do this now? We don't have time to do this now. This is yes, we should do it, but when does it fit into, a schedule? But I would say it's worth considering that praise was very abstract until the dashboards made it very concrete. And this sort of like questioning came hand in hand with everyone using the dashboard, and then there being some, really, I would say, just thoughtful, thoughtfulness around, oh, is this what was originally intended, and maybe is the distribution seem I don't know, does the distribution seem like it's what we wanted to have happen? So yeah, and I don't know how to explain this very well, but I think that we can say, without having something concrete to compare, there was not any discussion. I certainly didn't think about it. I didn't give it a second thought. I think a lot of people in our community never thought about it until it sort of, really, Jeff's post made us maybe stop and say, hey, can we challenge our own thinking, and see how, how these results will affect all of the community and people's interest in participating in this community that we all want to build together.
I would say that I would fully support separating praise from any type of contribution system at all. If at the end of the day the data shows something that says we need to change how we do impact hours and stuff, then I would rather separate the praise system completely and have that as a voluntary system that this culture participates within, rather than mold the praise system to some type of reward system and dictate how we do praise in this community. Because at the end of the day, once we start dictating how people praise and what they praise for, then it becomes a completely useless system from a cultural perspective, in my opinion.
I see what you're saying. So like the idea that we should have, so like we are praising very liberally, and we should continue to do that. It's definitely,
I think I would fall in that box as well.
I think that there's different issues, right? It's like the input, like that's the input. How do we get the input? Then how do we get the quantification? And then this, in the habit of challenging the algorithm, like let's do some like, I don't know, like right now we're eyeballing to see like, hey, does this feel right? At the end of the quantification, it's like, does this feel right? Should we make this higher? Should we make this lower? But then that's like these one little points of time without some more like larger holistic view. Yeah, I don't know that there are any answers right now, and that's why I'm actually really grateful that there is such support from the token engineering community, who we are building the Token Engineering Commons for, to help look at this from an engineering perspective, right? Like from using data science, and maybe they'll have some insights from an outside fresh view that we haven't yet come up with ourselves, and maybe not. Maybe we'll look at the results and be like, man, this is, we don't need to incorporate any change.
Yeah, I'd be
Guys,
interested
I
in
have to
seeing
jump
about
out. So, sorry, I just have to
Yeah,
jump
I
out.
think
I just wanted to say that whatever the community decides, to me, is law, and that's what I consider the most valuable thing on DEC. I'll see you. I'll keep discussing and jumping into this discussion, it's great.
Thanks,
Santi. I think we should wrap up as well. It's been 30 minutes in, and if there is any comments, just write in the agenda or in the forum, or feel free to reach out to me. I think it's really important that we have a lot of dialogue in this